Hello, everybody, and welcome. I've invited Heather LaFond, who is an amazing, gifted shamanic healer, to come and chat with me about a fantastic, phenomenal healing session that she did for me in July this year, 2025. And just before we start, I want to acknowledge that this is for advanced light workers. And some people may find some of the content a little bit challenging, and that's okay. It's really okay. But we wanted to, I know that it's my mission to talk about these things in the truth and depth of what the reality of what has been happening and how Heather helped me. So thank you, Heather, for coming to talk to me.
My pleasure. I'm so happy to be here.
So we went on a retreat called Sanctuary Conscious Leaders Retreat in July in Canada. We'd met online about 18 months ago
Yes.
in the Dragonfly Club in a program called Metamorphosis. And I think everybody on that program did change, did go through their own metamorphosis.
Oh, yeah. For real. Yeah.
And I remember, meeting you along with the other 12 or 14 people and thinking, I just know that Heather's super gifted. And, heart to heart, I was like, I love Heather. This is great. So it was so good to know that you were going to Canada. And I remember just thinking, right, staying open to whatever will happen, not knowing what's going on, but just believing, right, we've all heard the call to be there. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And I feel that
Similar.
even like leading up to that event, like we were kind of talking a little bit before this, that Spirit was guiding me to like pack certain items, like a flashlight, and then the power went out one night, so I needed it, and some other items for some of the healing sessions that ended up taking place that normally I wouldn't bring. And normally I would fly, but I was like, I'm gonna drive this time. So I had plenty of space and I didn't need to like make sure I wasn't taking too much when I traveled, and everything worked out for the highest good of everyone.
Yeah, spirit was absolutely guiding this whole thing, right?
Hmm. For sure. Hmm.
So on the it was the Wednesday when you generously offered me well, you were intuitively guided to offer me a shamanic healing. And that came about. I just want to explain to people how this came about. So on the Wednesday morning, I wanted to get up and go to yoga. So we are having early morning yoga every day. It was an optional thing, we can go if we want, we don't have to. But I wanted to do it. But as soon as I woke up, I thought, oh, I've got this awful pain in my back, and it's an old pain in my back. And I was a bit sluggish, a bit slow, but I was like, oh, I'm trying to get there on time, but I just couldn't. So I was a little bit late. And when you're feeling a little bit guilty, like I've really tried to turn up on time, but I was a bit late. Anyway, we were meeting on these squares. So they were like diagonal squares. And we met for a session of eye gazing. Now, you know what it's like when you've got all these like really powerful people with their gifts switched on, open-hearted, wide open to having their own experience and being there to witness and support others. It's profound, right? So eye gazing with the level of gifts of the people who were there was like, oh, this is big. So first of all, I saw Heather Conlon and I was like, wow, you're so powerful. I was looking in her eyes going, you're just thinking, look at the power of this amazing woman. Moved next to Michelle Lane, who's your friend, right? But
Yes.
I never connected with Michelle before, and I'm there looking into her eyes, and I swear I just was like, she is so safe. I felt completely held in safety and love. Completely. Like she's got me. I felt joyful, like this is amazing. Next moved on to Tara, and I was like, how much love is in this space? I was just going, right, love, heart connection, beautiful. So we got to the end of it, and I'm like feeling wonderful. And Cindy's going, right, okay, how do you feel after doing that? And a few people shared, and I'm like, I feel amazing, feel great. And she started to say, do you really? Do you really? What else do you feel? And she was going deep. She was like, the longer she stood there and went, how do you really feel? This bloody back thing came back again. And I'm like, actually, I've just been surrounded by safety and love and witnessing and power, and this niggle in my back is coming back. And I felt myself, when you go into a tiny, tiny quiver and you're like, that quiver's coming up. Oh gosh, it's coming. And we moved away from the squares, and I was walking with Michelle Lane. And I thought, I'm going. It's rising up. It's coming. The waterworks were coming up. Before long, I'm like, oh, Michelle. Like, I nearly didn't make it because this pain in my back is hurting so much. And it was like Michelle instantly cottoned on to me as though this pain in your back is ancient, right? It was like she just knew. It was like telling somebody who knew. By the time we got to the yoga room, I was like just melting. It's like
Yeah.
the whole of me is just like ready to go. Take this pain off me. I'm done. It's 25 years. I can't do this anymore. So I had Michelle Edwards with her remarkable healing hands on my back, helping to shift it, and she was shifting what was going on. And Michelle Lane talked me through what I was needing to bring through. And I just want to take a moment. Trigger warnings about to be fired at anybody. Okay, trigger warnings. I can't possibly give enough. 25 years ago, I was attacked. And there were multiple forms of attack, including rape, including violence, physical violence, emotional abuse, psychological abuse. But during the very first attack and in subsequent attacks that went on for 6 months, I watched my assailant be taken over by a giant alligator energy. And it was incomprehensibly terrifying and terrorizing to me. And I've lived with that for 25 years. And it's worth acknowledging that we live in a world where, when a woman needs to vouch for herself about rape, it's like, well, what was she wearing? So the levels of comprehension of who on earth is a safe witness has been like clawing through the mire of sediment to find people I can say this to who won't diminish me, gaslight me, mock me, walk away from me, whatever, for many years. And this is also something I have been consciously working on since 2012. So it all came out, but it started coming up. And Michelle talked me through this pain in my back, which was a very ancient pain, as well as being 25 years old. And the nature of it felt like a cold metal tip of a type of spear that was pressing into the nerves in my spine. So she helped me to try and dislodge this in powerful ways. And then I can't remember when you were involved, but I think it was one meal time.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was breakfast or lunch. Do you know?
I think it might have been a little bit later in the day. I wasn't there for the morning events. I was resting and I just knew that something was amiss with the way that you were feeling, like, and energetically, I could sense something being off. And I was like, I feel compelled to offer her a shamanic healing session if she'd be receiving of it. And you were.
And I was. Yeah. I remember Michelle saying, tell tell Heather what you've told me. And I did. I knew to be able to trust you. And, I've done so much clearing work, clearing in the Akashic Records. Uh, Whatever entity removal I'm able to do for myself. I've had other people involved in this. I've done cord cutting. I've done forgiveness. I can't count the prayers. I can't. Um, yeah. And it was like it was time. It was time for something else. It was like Heather's here now. This is a whole different level. So you offered me an individual shamanic journey, and I would love you to talk us all through what that looked like for you. I know the effects of how amazing it's been for me, but I would love to give you the space to share your gifts and what happened from your perspective.
Yeah, so we decided to do the healing outside on the grass. And so I always begin by opening up sacred space and calling in protection. And I felt compelled to bring out this stone. I can't remember like the scientific name of it, but it is a shamanic cloaking stone. So it does help shamans to kind of put a layer of protection and visibility cloak around them when they're doing certain work. And I felt compelled to use that stone with this session. And right away, we could sense when we opened up sacred space that Mother Mary was there, watching over beautiful Rachel. And as I tuned into her energy, I could sense that there was an energetic parasite that was starting from her root chakra and was stemming up towards. It was trying to get in the direction of her throat, but her heart was so powerful and so strong that it couldn't quite get past there. So it was like blocking it. And really, what this parasite was doing was not only siphoning that energy from her, like creating energetic leaks from those lower chakras, but it was trying to block and stop any of the functioning of those chakras, which, if you're familiar with those, which I'm sure if you made it this far, you probably are. But like your root chakra is really about grounding and connection to the earth and feeling safe in your body. Your sacral is that sexual energy, safety in that realm. And then above that would be your solar plexus, which is our confidence. Um, and so those chakras were being affected for quite some time for Rachel. And even though I could sense this energetic parasite that I kind of called it, I believe I called it a tapeworm type entity. Um, I wanted to be sure that this is what it really was and to see if there was any contracts that were associated with this and what the root of this was. Because even though I was aware a little bit of her story, um, I didn't want to make any assumptions that that was the root of it. Because in order to really release something, we get to the root. And get it out, you know? So I did a journey on it and found that this was stemming from that attack. Um, and that there was a contract that had been associated with it. I told her that it was written on like these arched iron doors, told her what it said, asked for permission for her to release the contract. And of course, she agreed to that. And then asked for permission to remove the entity from her. Our beautiful friend Michelle Lane was holding space, and she witnessed as I removed that energetic attachment from her. She witnessed a mist kind of leaving Rachel's body. Um, and yeah, so we did that removal. We called in her soul essence, which was "You Are of the Stars." How fitting for a beautiful astrologer. And a spirit animal, which was a frog, had appeared, which we ended up starting to see a lot more of them showing up at the retreat after that. Like nobody saw them, and then all of a sudden they're everywhere. So that was pretty cool. And then also we went into her back and removed the spear that had been there, and that was from a past life, um, way of passing, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. It was absolutely incredible. And from my perspective, lying there allowing you to do that, knowing it felt like this is time. It's time to be done. And I was hearing it was put there in person and it had to be taken out in person. So all of the work that I've been trying to do remotely, you may you will understand that this had to be done on what I perceive to be an advanced level, which is why it was you, because I sense that you've been doing this for many lifetimes. That level of trust that I was able to place in you, the fact that I could see Mother Mary and she's consciously been around me since I was 5. Well, I was 5 when I realized Mother Mary's there.
Yeah.
How did I know her? But I did. And lying there, I felt like my whole 47 years of this life in this Rachel came full circle. Like, this is absolutely supposed to happen right now. It's time. Be gone. We're done. And the after effects are so powerful. I have been profoundly reconnected with memories, particularly of my teenage years, of my maiden era, and my early 20s before the attacks, to the point where I feel that these memories had just been suppressed under the veils of what this parasitic entity was routinely siphoning out of me. Like I wasn't able to get to these positive memories. And I've been reclaiming, oh my goodness, this is the truth of me. I was actually really powerful. I wasn't abused because I was some kind of pathetic victim. I felt weak after I'd been practically annihilated. But actually, like realizing the strength of me has been actually
Yeah.
really, really profound. Like I couldn't access those memories before. So it's
Yeah.
been a really unbelievable change and
Right.
very quickly. Been dreaming loads of different memories from my life. Every time I'm in meditation, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that as well, and that and that.
Yeah.
It's so powerful.
Yeah. It's crazy how trauma can cause those blocks in our minds. And
Yeah.
two, I truly believe that that entity had come to stop you on your
Mm.
soul's mission
Yeah.
to keep you from speaking up and also to forget who you are because you are powerful. And now you get to remember that.
Yeah. And the interesting thing for me, contemplating all that I've been able to see and remember and do and help other people with. The interesting thing is there was always this block to being able to really truly ground and let anything take root that was good for myself. That was what was being, it was like something was being stopped.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of forerunners of this, like over the past 10 months, specifically since losing Facebook, I began to have all these visions of like sacral removals, like there were energies that were just not good that were actually attached to me, and that all came away. Lots of very interesting feminine cycles where I've been like, okay, just gonna let my body do its thing. It knows what to do. Let's release. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then a lot of spontaneous waking up in the middle of the night, feeling like I've got the beginnings of some kind of Kundalini rising, having to do yoga in the middle of the night, but never still quite being able to shake this other deeper thing. And now I know it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think that getting to the root of it with the soul contract that was there was really a very key part in it, because I had already seen multiple lifetimes where I remember you saying the contract was that we were going to keep pushing each other right to the edge where, like, basically somebody ends up dead. Yeah. And that's kind of how things felt in this life. And I think that the remembrance and the reminders of all of those other lifetimes have become like lodged as a remembrance.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely ready to release that one.
Yeah.
It
Uh,
it feels so profound for, I guess it's a message for people who are feeling that they know the size and extent and nature and messages connected with their soul mission. They've got their self-mastery, they've done their inner work. There's so much that's been done over a matter of years. And despite the best efforts of finding the best people that you can possibly muster, there's still something attached, basically.
right.
Um, and really, it is about finding that right person who's got the skill level to get shut on that level. And we were laughing at the time because you were saying I'm the shaman with the jokes. I'm like, well, I can't remember exactly what you said, but you were like, I'm in and out. I don't mess about.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
on with it. And you
Yeah.
did. You did.
Yeah.
You didn't like have some like quiet little ripping up of this soul contract. You used explosives, right?
Right. Get that out, get rid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't mess around. And I think the thing is too, like everything in my journey has led me up to this point, just as yours, right?
Mhm.
And over the years have really begun to trust the things that spirit communicates to me, the things that my intuition is showing me. And so when I'm doing a journey on behalf of a client, I'm not going to sit there like, is that really what it is? Is that like, I'm going to trust what I'm shown because I know and trust my spirit guides and where I'm going to retrieve this information that it is what it says it is. And it's never been wrong.
Yeah.
So it's always resonated with each client. And something too that I wanted to add that I shared with Rachel before this was that so Rachel was one of my beautiful friends that I got to offer a healing session to while at Sanctuary. And then I have another friend that the moment that I saw him at Sanctuary, I could see like this heaviness on his heart. And I was like, I really hope that I get the opportunity to just speak with him and maybe if he feels called to do a session and be receptive to that, that I can do that for him. And he was. And then after that session had occurred, like we knocked the power out at the resort. Like I truly feel like the vortex of energy by everyone that's so powerful at this retreat. Like it just created this vortex. There was like a nearby tornado. It's like the power. It couldn't handle us. But then the next day I started to hear voices inside of my head from spirit and like just knowings dropping in. And I it made it a little bit challenging to be in a social environment and having that happen because as you can imagine when you're hearing things inside your mind and then outside of your mind and you're trying to focus and so I was like what is this, why now, why am I hearing these sounds inside of my head, what is this for? And spirit was like, this is your gift for being so selfless with your two friends, because I gave those sessions to them without expecting anything in return, just having a giving, caring heart and feeling like maybe I can help them a little bit.
And it was such a huge gift. I've said this to everyone I've spoken to about that retreat. If I went to Canada for one reason and it was to have that healing with you, it would have been worth it. I mean, there were 5,000 other things that happened, right? It was an
Yeah,
amazing event
yeah,
in total, but I would have gone for what you gave me. And I'm so grateful, so grateful. You are part of my journey as we are, there are so many of us who are part of each other's journey. And when we understand, like you do, we're all connected.
yeah.
And when we give, we receive, and staying open to both is just so beautiful, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, amazing. There was something that you also shared with me about how your gifts spontaneously opened last year. Was it just after Metamorphosis when you had that
Yeah.
experience?
Yeah, it was shortly after we went through Jonathan Carroll's Metamorphosis programs where we originally had met. I was guided to go to Arizona for a spiritual conference, and it was great, but that wasn't why I was there. Just like with you, like it was great, but that's not why I was there. I had a couple of friends that I was sharing an Airbnb with, and one of them was experiencing some pain in her back. And so at the end of the day, when we were done at the conference, I was like, hey, like, I would love to give you a Reiki session if you're open to it. Like, Reiki was pretty much like the extent of what I was doing at that time, besides spiritual mediumship and communicating with spirit. And so she's like, yeah. So we go outside. I think I just need to do sessions outside because they're just so magical every time. But so we're outside and I open up sacred space. I call in God and the angels because that's who I work with. And when I placed my hands on her shoulders, just to like kind of connect into her energy and see what was kind of going on there, I went into a trance like state. And so I couldn't remember what had happened at the time. One of my other friends that was present was recording it because she is a social media girl. So she's like, I'm going to get you content. So I was able to watch that back. And then also they relayed to me after doing both of their sessions what had happened. But it was basically like I allowed God to work through me and was able to tune into some past lives and some ways of passing that had occurred. Asked them for permission to release that energy from their body, and they kind of assisted in that process. But a lot of the things now that I have gone through a shamanic healer training and learned all about that and the different ways that we can assist people, a lot of that makes sense now. So it's basically a remembrance of past lives, of me doing this over lifetimes, as Rachel mentioned, remembering that and not necessarily needing to make sense of it at the time, just kind of going with it. Um, but it's truly powerful. And two, like I am a very humble person. Like I know that this is a co-creation. This is a do with process, not a do to. I'm not the powerful like healer. Like I allow God, source, the angels to work through me. And it's being receptive to the healing, allowing yourself to release it. Because how many of us have something that maybe we identify so much with that we're the victim of, that if we were to release that, who would we be? Because that's our identity. So sometimes with people that are maybe just starting on their healing journey, just starting to become aware of other things, spiritually, they might not be at a point where they're ready to let go of that completely. Whereas a lot of us light workers that have been doing this work for a while, we're like, get that shit gone. I'm like jumping out the plane without checking that there's a parachute attached. I'm like, let's go. Like,
I love it. Yeah, and Um, yeah, that is a very, very good point because we work through these things in layers over years, and that's how we should be because, of course, our humans got to catch up, right? Um, but also, I think it's really worth saying, for my particular journey, I didn't realize until 2019, we're talking about 19 years later after the specific attacks that happened to me. When I first heard reptilian starseed, I went, oh my God, that's what happened to me. I had no idea. I was just bottling it up,
Mhm.
going, what the hell was that giant alligator that I saw that terrified me, terrorized me, and chucked me about? You know, I should have been in rehab. I should have had the kind of physiotherapy and chiropractic help that I didn't get because I could never feel like I was safe to say the truth of what happened. But after this entity removal, which thank you, by the way, for going and confirming that that entity was related to those series of attacks. Thank you for that, because if you hadn't have gone in and asked that and got rid of it at root cause,
Yeah,
well, who knows? We could still be playing about with the same thing, right?
right.
Um, However, I've been able to totally only this year, so we're talking about 25 years later, I was shown by what I would prefer to just call the Holy Spirit because it's like just information that here it is, it's time. That the man who was the host for those attacks has no idea what happened. He had his memory wiped. The whole experience was a spiritual warfare, a spiritual attack, a psychic attack. The entire experience was to for my journey to unfold in exactly the way it has done.
Yeah.
And for me, that takes away shame, blame, totally unable to bring logical comprehension because I couldn't, because
Yes.
I had a series of memories that just did not add up.
Right.
And as soon as I knew that he doesn't know, and I'm just going to say, I realize the implications of what I'm saying for victims of crimes. I realize what I'm saying. And I don't want anybody to run away with that thinking that this is carte blanche. Just didn't know, just didn't know.
Right.
But in this case, he did not know. And that changes things because I no longer have to write the extensive journaling that I've done for a decade of how could he behave like that and then like that and then like that and tie myself in mental knots. I don't need to do that. It's gone.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
Yeah.
That's a huge level of release. And in terms of forgiveness, it changes things.
Mhm.
Because if I believed for many years that he did know what he was doing and that that was completely deliberate and that he was completely in control of what was happening, all aspects of it, and subsequent reactions, that did not make sense. And that gave him all the power and me none.
Right.
And that's not the truth.
Right. Yeah.
And I
Well, and
think
I feel like too, this year is all about completion energy. If you look at the numerology behind it, so it was time for this to be done so
exactly,
that you can have that new beginning for 2026.
exactly. And 2026 has such fresh energy to it. Quarter
Mhm.
one of 2026 is three planets moving back into new signs in a full throttle way forward. We're in this retrograde period now. We're going to have that push forward, as well as it being a universal year one, starting a whole new 1 year cycle, 9 year cycle with that fresh energy. It's so huge. And this is a massive time of release, of recalibration, of truth. And I love how when you've got the truthful answer on a spiritual level, it simply blasts away all levels of sediment, all distortion, all
Right,
falseness. And that's how you know you've got it. And you don't need to go back into the same thing repeatedly.
right.
So, what I would say to anybody watching, if you feel like you have done repetitive healing on the same thing over and over and over, and you have probably listened to quite a lot of shaming, blaming, gaslighting messages in the spiritual communities that have made you feel like, why am I not over this yet? There may be something that is veiled from you, even if you're a talented clairvoyant yourself. There may be something veiled from you that has been put there with advanced technology deliberately so that you cannot see it, so that you cannot succeed in your big mission. That thing was trying to get to my throat. It didn't manage it, but it has been managing to wreck my ability to ground the foundation until Heather.
Yeah, and I think that's something important to say too is that, healers need other healers. We can't
Yes.
always do the work on ourselves. So it's always helpful to have someone else that you can call on that can see those blind spots, that can tune into things that maybe are blocked from your vision, to be able to assist you on your healing journey.
Yeah. And just knowing that there is no shame in that. It's actually really beautiful to be able to say, I honor and love your gifts, and I am so grateful for what you were able to do that no one else has been able to, and I couldn't either. And also, do you do remote healings like this, or is this always in-person work?
I do remote as well as in person. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I hope that this is a really big recommendation for Heather's work because I actually think that this is potentially really huge, that there are a lot of people who could be suffering in this way that literally just haven't met someone yet who has the capacity at the right level to shift what you
Yeah.
are clearly capable of doing.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you. Is there anything else that you would like people to hear before we close this?
No, I think that's perfect. I appreciate you. I'm so grateful to finally have met you in person, and I'm so honored to have been able to assist you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I can't say thank you enough times. I only hope that advanced light workers who know that they are carrying something huge that they haven't yet been able to remove will hear the call and come your way if that feels right. So thank you, and thank you everybody for watching this. If you want to reach out to either myself or Heather, we will put our contact details below. And thank you for watching and thank you for being here with me, Heather.
Thank you.